All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Counter. I'm your host, Rich Jon, and with me, as per usual, John Quincy Adler.
Ow!
What's up, man?
The quincyest.
I gave you a little,
The quintessence.
a little presidential humor there.
Yeah, I enjoyed
What's
it.
up, man?
Good, man.
Yeah?
You?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm still coming off the Comic-Con high. We were in attendance at New York Comic-Con. I was there all 4 days. John was there all 3 days, and Andrew was there all 3 hours of the first day.
So
Which
much.
is fantastic.
So bad.
Did you have fun? I want to, because this is.
I did, but it was too much.
I was really excited about doing the show this week because I want to hear your experience as you were the layman in this instance, and this is your first major comic convention.
It was.
I want your experience. We all took the train in together. We got there. It started at 12 o'clock on a Thursday. Go.
It was a little busier than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people with book bags.
Oh yeah,
A lot of book bags.
I had a book bag.
You did.
I had a book bag
There
too.
were a lot of book bags.
You needed it. I had
He had
stuff
like a
I
survival
need.
kit.
Mhm.
I had extra clothes.
Yep.
I had baby powder, wipes.
I had baby wipes and camera gear.
It was just like really over the top. It was way too much. You know what it was? I anticipated Saturday would be busy. I didn't think Thursday was this busy.
Oh
Thursday's
yeah.
crazy.
It was
Every day's
really
crazy.
busy. Just a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a lot of vendors, a lot of the same stuff. You're just walking around, you're shuffling your feet.
Right.
Yeah, it's carpeted. What convention carpets the floors?
It's a bad carpet. It's barely a carpet.
Barely a carpet. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'll go again next year,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's for me.
For 3.5 hours next year.
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
Sweet. Yeah. Next year we're gonna cosplay,
Next year, I'm getting an exhibitor pass and going like 2 hours before.
and then we should set up a GFQ booth and do live shows all day.
I could be in my little area.
Mm-hmm. We can if you want to set it up next year. I think we should do it in that weird art area where guys are trying to sell you their comic books.
Yeah.
And that would be perfect because then we can grab people and say like, do you want to be on the air? Do you want to do? We're doing a 10-hour Comic-Con special on GFQ Network.
Yeah. A lot of people disconnected from reality. So John and I are very judgy.
No
very
shit.
judgy people.
What, you guys?
And
no,
you like we're kind of better when you're around.
Thank you.
But you left and you were doing stuff.
I
and
was holding you back with a lot of shit.
Did
Yeah.
you guys get like, after I left? Did you guys turn into Gollum?
No, I watched him talk to his brother and try and troubleshoot the place outside.
Were you judging that?
I was judging that, but there were some people that he shouldn't have made fun of that has curbed him. That it was just a little.
I thought
too
it was
far.
cosplay.
It was a little too far.
No, I thought that was cosplay.
I did hear one of those.
Yeah. I thought it was cosplay. No, there were just a lot of like. Forget about the appearances, but the thing that I discovered is that a lot of these like stereotypes about nerd culture.
Don't use my
and-
line.
What?
You're stealing my line.
What
Here
am
it
I
goes
stealing?
again.
I don't even know what I'm stealing.
That's real. That all the stereotypes.
Oh yeah,
are real?
it's absolutely real.
You see this guy?
That's his job.
Maybe
though.
that's my job. That's
Oh,
what
my
I do.
goodness. I went a diatribe about this the other
That's
day.
his job.
Where did you go on
In
this?
front of you at Comic-Con,
You-
directly in front of you.
You
Yeah.
are the Vince Russo to his Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Oh my
of like
God.
he'll separate.
Great
he'll-
idea.
He'll
That's
separate.
one of it.
He'll separate the detritus and be like, you know what I think?
Amazing.
No, but it was amazing, and I think we were the second we realized it is when we were looking at that weird anime group of girls by the
yeah.
Dark Horse booth,
Mm.
and they were so excited about like something, and they just didn't know how to say hello and goodbye. Like it was just really awkward. Like they're greeting
To each other.
to each other, like
Not to you.
no. They were greeting each other. Like there was a group that was saying hello, and it like they didn't know like to hug. They didn't know how to hug. And then you have the group they're like bye, but like they just didn't know how to say goodbye to each other. And that was a defining moment
That was
for
the
me.
thing that's the one that set you off.
It didn't set me
agree.
off, but like it was unreal that adults don't know hello and goodbye.
There's
The
a lot
most
of people.
basic.
Listen, man, there's a lot of people who don't know how to give pound hugs. You know.
Yeah.
It was beyond that. It wasn't like an awkward
beyond
like
that.
like it wasn't even like it's a cultural thing. It was just they are incapable of like they've never done it before. Like they come out once a year and they see people once a year, and it was unbelievable.
I'm fascinated by your train of thought. I really
Yeah.
I'm not judging you, but I think that a week later, that's still in your head where you're just kind of like, these people did not. Did you tell your wife, or you're like, Jess, these people did not know how to say goodbye to each other?
Yeah, I said I've never witnessed such an awkward hello and goodbye in my life.
I didn't even notice any of this stuff.
You did. You were commenting with me, and you were like, "Yeah, it's really weird." I'm like, "Look at them. They were all dressed up. It was some weird anime."
You're describing every single person.
And they all had like stars on their head. And there was this one guy. One guy was with them, and this guy was like a troll, but like he hit the jackpot. It was like him and like 15 girls. He was like, "This is it." But none of them knew how to say hello and goodbye. They were having like their emotions. It wasn't that they were emotionless. They just didn't know the appropriate response to stuff. Like everything was over the top.
I mean,
that's cool.
The whole place is filled with weird social interactions. That's what the place is for.
Nobody knows. Like,
but be honest, the real clincher, and you said to me also, the real clincher was when you saw a woman sneeze.
Oh, the cough. No, the cough.
Cough. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was it.
Tell me about this. Tell me about this.
No, that was it. I was done. I shut down.
This was like we entered into. I think it was Ars Alley. I think we went downstairs and immediately like this woman just coughed into a tissue.
No, but we were talking about this,
and he was like, "That's it." Like that switch went over his head. Like he knew that he was walking out of here.
I'm out.
We went outside. He troubleshot, and then I thought someone else could hold the camera with me, and he was out.
No, because we were just talking about. I'm like, these people, nobody covers their mouth. Like everybody's like coughing, and he's like, yeah, that's the thing that really pisses me off. Like people just they don't know. Like, okay, this is my space. This is your space. Everybody's in each other's space. I'm like, I just feel like everybody's coughing on everybody, and this woman just as I'm doing that.
Say you.
As I'm doing that, this woman just caught like where this is. That's where she was.
Andrew's pointing to a spot that's about like 12 or 13 inches away.
Arm's length. And he coughed in front, and I look at John. I'm like, that's it.
Not happening.
That's it.
I'm out of here.
Done. I can't get sick.
Well, yeah. Well, I think
gross.
I think officially, I'm officially going on the record that this was my last year at Comic-Con.
No, really.
I think I'm retired.
Wow. Cairo Kid just called you guys divas.
Sure. Listen, man. Listen, I know you're the diva. I really.
Thanks.
How long have we been doing this for?
Years.
Like years.
Including being there and working there since its inception, 2003 or 4. Yes. I want to say 2004, 2005.
It's too much. So like I think I came to realization Saturday. Like, why am I doing this to myself?
What was it for you?
It was a long gradual thing. So this year was interesting because. You were working, so a lot of time I spent was by myself on the floor. So I did a lot of personal reflection, and I did a lot of interactions I wouldn't do.
Not a good place to do personal reflection.
Well, personal reflection in terms of like why you here type of thing, and what am I getting from this thing? And I also spent it with people who have never been there. Like I spent it with my friend Chris, Andrew, who's never been here. My girlfriend Jen came for a day.
That's right. Yeah.
She was miserable. I mean, I want a T-shirt of hers, quote of pretty much everywhere she turned was, she should not be wearing that. She should not be wearing that.
What was she wearing?
No.
What
her
she
saying
said.
about almost every single woman that she should not be wearing that. So anyway, so he would go off and do his work, and then I'd go outside for a little bit, and then I'd come back in, and I'd do a circle. I'd walk around the place and see the same vendors and see a lot of the same people. I'm not a big fan of crowds. I've never been a big fan of crowds. But I think the moment where I really like this is it for me was Saturday was miserable. I was on antibiotics. I was getting over being sick. I was going to the bathroom. I was gonna go change my shirt because it was disgusting in there.
Yeah.
It was really humid, and it always happens. I think every Saturday or Sunday it gets really bad one day.
I did the spare shirt on Saturday as well.
I had 3 shirts on me on Saturday. I went through 2 of them.
Wow.
And I was walking to the bathroom, and there was a line for a plug for an outlet. People were lining up in front of the bathroom to use this one plug. And it's one dude, this bigger guy, bald on top, like it looks like your average old school Advanced Dungeons & Dragons player.
Suffer.
He's coming straight at me, and what people don't move. People expect you to be the one that moves, and I got sick, and I'm a nice guy. I usually will move for you. I have weird social shit with that.
Yeah,
like I'll be the guy who puts himself out of the way. And it's the one time I decide, there's no room for me to move.
I'm not moving.
So what he did was he shoulder checked me. He went down low and shoulder checked me.
Yeah.
I didn't budge. I stopped there and I went, "What are you doing?" And he just ignored me and went forward. And then I went to the bathroom, and then this guy is changing into a Spider-Man costume. It's a gigantic line of people trying to go into the toilets because everyone needs to use the
little gun shy at the Comic-Con.
Everyone's gun shy at the.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I just use those things for my to change my clothes.
Right, yeah.
And to put powder on my balls and the ass.
Because you got it.
Have to.
You can't have that chub rub at that Comic-Con, man. Javits Center's a big place.
Yeah, and so I walked out of there. I walked out of the bathroom. I changed, and I walked around, and I was just like, I've seen everything. I'm not interacting with the people that I want to be interacting with. The safest place for me, the most wonderful place, was the press room, which is really quiet and really nice, and I had a cool interaction with Peter Pan. But there's like I've done this so many years.
Yeah.
And I just there's like I appreciate fandom. This is the first year I really appreciated the idea of wow. Like Thursday, I was like, wow, it really dawned on me that so many people here, this is like something they look forward to. This is their Super Bowl. This is something that they
good way to put it.
Genuinely let their freak flag fly, and I appreciate someone that would go that far. Like you're wearing a ridiculous costume. You spent half your building this or not, or you just put it together today.
Yeah.
You don't care what you look like. You want the appreciation. You want to be at the center of attention. But by Saturday, that was gone. By Friday, that was gone. That entire romanticizing of it, which I've never done before, was completely shattered. And I went back to the way that I usually feel.
I gotta get out of here.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And like, there's not. It's just I've done it. I've seen it, smelt it, tasted it. I'm not buying shit there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to a panel. I take a couple pictures. I'll maybe do one day next year.
All right.
But that's it. I don't know.
The day that he goes.
Wednesday.
The setup day.
The setup day.
I want to see you guys set everything up. Looks good, guys. Looks good.
No more. Like I get frustrated in traffic. Human traffic makes me even worse. Like I'm getting older and the tolerance is getting
That's
less
interesting.
and less.
As you know, I get very pumped up about Comic-Con.
What gets you pumped up?
I love it, man. I love it. You know what? I love it because I just do. I love. I'm a people person. I don't mind crowds. This type of crowd doesn't bother me. The crowds that bother me are going to like big concerts. And I'm I don't know if anybody who's watching knows this. I'm a huge metal guy, and I would never go see Metallica live. I don't like going to arena shows anymore because of the crowd thing. Not because there's so many people there. It's just that like in my head everybody is a drunken asshole yelling Slayer. And I don't like that. Like I'm not a fan of like yelly people. And I love the con because there's not much yelling. There's a lot of people, which I'm fine with.
A lot of yelling.
But there's not belligerent drunken yelling,
No.
Which I'm cool with. But working this con weekend, I had like, it was a nice kind of like 50-50 thing where I got to work at the Dark Horse booth taking pictures for Dark Horse. And also while I was not doing that, walking around the con floor. Being at the booth and taking pictures, kind of like I had that enlightenment of like, wow, like everybody's lining up because they love this stuff so much. And it's such a pure, like,
but that's not always true.
Pure joy.
That's not always true because a lot of people who are waiting on lines there are just looking to flip something.
That's true.
I'd say that's 80% of a lot of dudes who are collecting stuff and getting stuff there. The 20% fandom is like that's the fervor, like the guys who are obviously very passionate about that.
Yeah.
Is fleeting. I think that's less at this place at this point.
I think it depends on what, because where I was,
the venue is.
It depends on what.
I mean, there were people bringing toys and stuff in.
Right. Those are the flipping guys. But where I was, I think the biggest line I saw was the guys who created Avatar. Right, and it was one of the voice actors.
Airbender.
Yeah. The last Airbender.
Yeah.
The line wrapped around the booth, gigantic booth, about 4 times. And I got to say, 90% of the people on that line were just like the fervent, like they could not wait to meet these people. They just didn't really it didn't seem like they wanted to flip merchandise. Everybody had books that were signed by like so many Avatar people.
Right.
And that was the cool thing,
That was I think Thursday we both said like Avatar and Korra was like definitely the most cosplay thing there.
Oh, yeah.
But what is it? It's not comics. Now it is.
No, yeah.
Now it is. I mean, that's the anime. The anime properties have taken over.
Yeah.
Stuff like this. Like what we see more and more of is anime cosplayers. Like you're seeing more of that genre, now overtaking essentially the superhero books, which is the heart of what Comic-Con was.
Yeah. See, I don't get, also on another note, I don't get judgy. I kind of get like oddly empathetic with people where like when I was snapping pictures at the booth and I'd see like people walk by, I'd be like, I wonder what that guy goes home to. I start doing like the Andrew thing of like, I wonder what people think of you, like what goes through your mind. And then I have to like distance myself from that because for some reason it's always like a really sad story where like this dude's locking his door because his folks are fighting and somebody has a gun and he's just got Inuyasha figures.
Exactly. And why do I want to come to that? Like,
but you don't know that's the reality.
But I'm saying, that's the like how Andrew stole my line before.
That was an original point that Andrew made, by the way.
This is what?
That was a completely original point.
My original point being that there was that this is one of the few things that the stereotype of Comic-Con and comic book fans really can get reiterated big time and comes true, especially at Comic-Con. If
you're somebody who's not into it, then that's where your stereotypes are,
and that's what you're gearing your vision towards and what you're interested. I love people watching. It's something I love doing, and I definitely get that from Comic-Con. But that's also fleeting. Like that's gone.
See, like I went to the wrestling convention, and it's the same thing, same people.
Yeah,
like just people that are lacking the ability to talk to human beings.
The social mores.
Yeah.
No, but but that's the thing. It's like I think.
But it's like that with anything, man. It's like that with sports dudes. I can't talk I like sports. I can't talk to like hardcore sports guys because it's like
that's all I know.
That's all they know, and it's like I can relate to you on a certain level, but not completely because like that's your weird shut-in thing.
Exactly. If you tell me you don't read or watch movies or watch TV, I'm probably not gonna have a lot to talk to you about.
Can't read.
Yeah, can't read.
Can't watch movies.
Can't write. Can't see.
Hate movies. Can't read.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know. There's like. I like doing. I like the idea of what we've done with Comic-Con. I think we've accomplished that.
Yeah.
But I think that there's nothing inherently that gives me joy. Like if I was, I'm invested. I love comic books. I love the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I get just excited about Wednesday as I've ever been.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that returns that to me at Comic-Con. If more than anything, it makes me want to isolate. Because I don't want to wait online for something. Yeah. I'm not shelling out this amount of money for your variant, or I don't have enough interest to go up to this creator and like get my stuff signed and get the whole nine, or saying like, why did you do this in that comic book?
I don't like that.
I didn't like that. Like I don't want that. And I know that's such a part of it. There's nothing that I get out of Comic-Con that gives me pleasure.
Okay.
Like there's nothing in that the fandom offers me. Because when you would go off and do your job, like, I didn't know what to do myself in terms of like what am I going to occupy my time with?
What makes me happy?
Yeah, like, what can I do here? Like I'm not going to buy food here.
Oh, definitely not.
I spend more of my time doing a circle and going to a bathroom so I can I use the bathroom or change my clothes or whatever. That's why I said like when I went to the press room, it was wonderful.
Nice and air conditioned, beautiful babes.
Yeah, there was babes there, and it was much more interesting. But like the person I spoke to there, like she was like really. So I sat at a table and this one girl started talking to me. She was dressed up like Peter Pan, very sweet from Tennessee. But she was like talking about like did you enjoy your con experience? I started going into weird interview mode. And I was like, oh yeah, like I did this, I got that, I got what I wanted. It was all obvious. It was all Doctor Who shit. Like, she got this drawing from this Doctor Who artist, this guy from this Doctor Who thing. Yeah. She got this TARDIS exclusive, and she's like, oh, and I spent $40 to go to see Steve Amell, and Steve Amell, like they said, like you can't touch him, you can't, don't try and kiss him, don't try
his handlers,
like don't try and do any of that stuff. If he wants to touch you, he'll touch you. And I'm like, what, like. You spend $40 on this shit, like to get your like, and he's like, and he touched me. He went for it, and like you're getting some weird shit from this. Like that is but you're spending money for it, and that whole process, like I don't have that in me at all. Like there's no one there that I am going to like. I need to meet you, and I need to have something signed from you.
See, I can appreciate that forever because I don't have patience for that anymore. I'm not saying I used to, but I remember like the old like even the first one of these.
Kid.
Right. When, like, not even a kid, like when I was in like my early 20s or late teens or like at the Madison Square Garden conventions, like these, like most of the celebrities there, because fandom was at like a weird low at that point, like maybe like 10, 15 years ago, up until like this kicked off. I think within the past 5 years, it's been the biggest it's ever been. But before that point, I had a conversation with Frank Gorshin, who just no handler, all the Batman people except for West.
My dad knows him too.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool. Rutger Hauer, just like all the people who you would see at these conventions who would have handlers just didn't at one point. And they were collecting, they had one guy collecting the money, and that's it. Now it's like you have to eat shit if you have to wait on a long line. I was talking to my friend, this guy Sayad, who I've known for many years, and like he'll go to the convention all the time. And this year he was like, you know what, man? Like, I feel like a douche every single year. I'll spend most of my time waiting on panel lines for 3 or 4 hours for a half an hour panel. Yeah. And then I'd have to leave. He's like, not this year. And this year I'm walking around the show floor. And he had like the best time. Yeah. The stuff I like to look at, I love the Transformers stuff. Love the EA, the play art stuff, the art print stuff. But again, it's like, what do you do to? Cause like I saw like all the Transformers prints, and I'm like, do I shell out $45 for this jazz lithograph, And I'm like, no. At the end of the day, I'm like, I thought the better of it, and I'm like, it would look really awesome on my wall, but not right now.
You for me.
I'd have to go to Home Depot and buy shelves, or I have to get a new refrigerator or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you start leveling off a little bit with like in terms of what you want to spend your money on. As far as like merch, I spent less than $100. I got a bunch of books, I got a shirt, and I got a hat. You know, but those first few years, man, like disposable income, like I would drop like hundreds of dollars on like awesome action figures.
See, I mean, I very rarely did that. Like the only time I really spent a lot of money on the collectible stuff was when I was really into Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
But I would never go back to that. I would never invest myself into that. I mean, and also the reason why I was doing it is because we had such a deep discount.
Oh, we had the deepest discount.
So it was easier for it to acquire it. But like even the art stuff, like I love the artists. I would love to be able to like, back in the day you had your sketchbook. Yeah. And like this, I'll go to the conventions and I'll get like this guy to sketch it. Now it's a whole to do, and you gotta schedule the guy, and you have to get paid for it. And I understand, like that's the nature of the beast. Like you're an artist, you're here on your, you're not here on your own dime. You maybe, like, do you think the Artist Alley guys, they have to pay for those spots?
I think because they're not. It's not like
because the other guys are like the guys who are like a Dark Horse. They're getting paid for those appearances.
Nope.
No, they're not.
Honor system for the most part.
But they work for the company.
Yes.
It's not like they bought that. Like I think the guys in the Artist Alley all have to buy their spot.
Yeah, I think they have. If you're like Dave Johnson, you have to pay for your booth. But like,
but you're making money that week. You're selling your lithographs.
Right.
And you're selling your original art, and you're selling whatever sketches.
See, that's the thing. Like because of the age of social media, again, which we talk about all the time, it's tough to because what I used to do, what I still love to do, is take my sketchbook and say like, hey, can you give me like a little thumbnail real quick? I'm not flipping this, make it out to me, and I have like a nice book of like all sorts of cool stuff. The guys don't do that anymore because now it's like, hey man, I reached out to you on Twitter. I'm gonna PayPal you $200. Have this thing ready for me. So these guys are working on stuff on the way to the convention.
Yeah, but also
and at the convention.
Yeah, and also exactly. But they, it's part of your business at this point. There's not a lot of. That's what I'm saying. Like there was, like when I was a fan in the '80s, and the return. Like I remember, I went to a mall back in the day, and it was probably the only line I ever stood on to get a signature, and I was a kid. It was Stan Lee and John Romita and Jim Salkrop, and I got from them. I didn't pay any money. It was just like a regular mall appearance. Yeah. I still have it. It's a head sketch for whatever reason. John Romita never really drew him. John Romita doing Wolverine, and I had signed by Stan Lee and Jim Salkrop. He did the blue lines. He inked it. It's just like a head.
That's awesome.
And that was like a return to you being a fan of the stuff. Like, and it didn't cost me anything. It cost my time of being there when waiting online. As a child, I didn't have a lot to do at that time, but there was a natural return. You getting your letter published in the back of the comic,
right?
You getting the no prize from Marvel,
right? Was
like a natural return. Everything at this point, comics are expensive. Time is even more expensive nowadays. you're throwing away so much of that into the Comic-Con. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying in general. Like if you're a fully invested person and you like, I have a budget. I'm going to spend at Comic-Con. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to schedule myself out. You're giving so much more back into the industry. Where I feel Comic-Con essentially was originally a place for you to get like some weird shit, like find your books.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and for you to meet these people that are your heroes and get for the industry to return something back to you. I don't think that's the same case. I think it's you feeding more into the industry.
I'll agree with that to a certain extent. I don't
like look at Marvel's booth. Marvel's booth is almost entirely built by the people performing for people, like having costume contests and quizzes and stuff like that. You're directly involving everybody into stuff like that. Like you're manufacturing content for their booth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fandom is giving back to that company for the most part.
I think for the dudes who are more on like not the national scale, like Scott Snyder had a giant. That's what I'm saying, like national scale. The guys who aren't on like gigantic books, Scott Snyder had a super long line, you know. So like your fan interaction wasn't that like it's quick, you know. Joshua Williamson, like awesome dude, got to meet him. He was signing Nailbiter and just like talking to fans and giving little sketches on Nailbiter. Geoff Darrow at the Dark Horse booth signed. Everybody got a free Shaolin Cowboy print, which was awesome. Everybody who waited online, he sketched something original on without even asking. Without just every single person got a surprise sketch from Geoff Darrow.
Well, I mean, everything that Geoff Darrow did at that convention, like he was selling merch and everything like that. Like he was doing stuff that's very out of the ordinary for something like that, and he's super old school
for the fans. Yeah. Exactly. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Like this guy comes from that industry of like that was at the original incarnations of like San Diego Comic-Con.
Like you guys love me, I'm gonna love you back.
Yeah, man. Know? Especially for position, and also a position that he's in, where this guy is an incredible artist, still one of the greats. And I mean, he doesn't have that marquee book. Like he has Shaolin Cowboy. You know, I'm a fan. You're a fan. Like guys who have always been invested in Geoff
If you're waiting on this line, you got to be a fan.
Like, oh yeah, like awesome, absolutely. But there isn't. You know, he's not doing XMen. He's not doing. You know, he's not drawing those people in, so he has an easier way to return something to the fans.
Yeah. It's a fantastic thing. I think Comic-Con's very fantastic.
Not a fantastic thing.
I enjoy it. I think if like nobody has gone, they should enjoy it. But that's the thing. Like Andrew, your girl. My friend Ashley, who is the first time she went, everybody had, after like the first 10 minutes, had that just like, it was like the Normandy beach. Like you're seeing all your friends just like get blown away, and you're kind of like, what's happening here, you know?
Yeah, man.
And everybody gets that vacant look, but
and also from being and like also working the con, like you know, like I think I brought you over to it. Yeah, I brought you over to that one guy that had the that one booth in the art section where he had the Western style Marvel prints.
Right. Yeah.
They try to hard sell us on that stuff.
Yeah.
And I understand the nature of the beast. Like you spent a fortune on your exhibition. You spent a fortune on this booth, and I know you're here to sell stuff, but like, I'm not gonna buy shit from you if you've taken the love out of anything. Like like when we used to sell in the booths and everything, we were hard selling like crazy. Yeah. But we were trying to make an attachment. Like, oh my god, like this is something you were invested into this. You're like, this is like, oh, did you read this thing? Actually, there's a bit more engagement than there was. It's just like, here's the money. You like this? Here's the money.
That's the thing. That's the thing that kind of drives me up a wall.
Those guys aren't the artists. Those guys are people who are hired.
They're resellers.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that drives me up a wall about like the merchandising and the retail stuff at the convention is that like one, I think the general mentality over the last couple of years from retailers is that, hey, you know what? If I'm going to put whatever price I want, these guys are going to pay for it. And it's true. T-shirt prices went up. Back issues went up. Like I was talking with a bunch of separate people like over the past week about how like they went specifically looking for certain back issues of like older books, and the prices that most of these guys are asking were like off for the grading of the books that were there.
But that's what
you know what I mean.
That's what.
Yeah, but you also have to remember the price of the attend as an exhibitor has gone up tremendously.
Of course,
that's true. But at the same time, you know what? Like that's the thing that I think is lost. Which, in a roundabout way, I'll agree with what you said before. The beauty of an old school comic book convention is like you can get the stuff that you want at a price that's not supposed to hurt your pocket.
Yeah, but
know?
Exactly.
Like the Manhattan conventions, like I used to make out like a bandit with like back issues and trades.
Because we know the story with back issues. The reason why back issues are so interesting in terms of money is because they're so malleable. Like
Right.
usually we'd overprice books
Mhm.
at cons for the fact of so we can haggle and get to a price that we're more happy with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're marking them up so we can mark them down and make you
Right.
feel happy about it.
Yeah.
That's just part of the whole thing. But I walk through the so mostly the exhibitors that are selling books are all in like that one section.
Yeah.
They're all miserable people, and there's less people there than ever.
Yeah.
Like there's the less traffic is in those areas where you're a comic book store.
The long box areas.
Yeah, long box places that are strictly old books or anything. You're gonna get your regular collectors, the guys who are the big hitters. You're gonna get some guys who are trying to fill in gaps, but
Right.
that's about it. You're not getting a lot of people there. The guys who are selling trades and statues are getting more action, and all the other miscellaneous bullshit, like the guy who's selling
Vanity Doctor Who license plates.
or like steampunk shit, or wax skulls.
Leather.
The leather guys, like those guys are getting more money. Again,
Yeah.
you're getting away from the comic orbit.
But that's also stuff that you can't find anywhere. So and anybody, the booths are not discriminatory, you know.
Not at all. But I'm saying, it's becoming more like this hodgepodge specialty thing than is where like I can count on my hand how many comic book announcements that came out of Comic Con.
Okay.
The amount of shit that's about like TV shows and anime and about leather and about like
a lot of leather announcements.
yeah, like all that shit is so much more top heavy than the spine of what brought this whole place together.
Yeah, but you know what? Like the machine eats itself, and you kind of lose what. Like that's the thing. That's
what I'm saying. But that's a realization I've come to. And
Okay.
I'm like, I'm okay with that. And I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
I'm ready to get away from
Interesting.
the Comic Con.
See, I'm going down with the ship because I know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go every year, and it's gonna be the same thing. But at one point, it's gonna eat itself, and from the ashes will arise a old school comic book convention, and then it's gonna happen again because it's cyclical. Because like all this stuff is cyclical, you know. Like back in the day, you had major conventions with stars, and then no Javits because they used to do the Javits years ago, and then all of a sudden, like because of the success, it's getting. I think this was probably their most successful year, judging by just the amount of people that were there.
But it always gets bigger.
You know, yeah, it gets bigger
Because you get more people like Andrew and everything that are now who have never had any interest of going there, or my girlfriend,
Right.
they're just coming for the spectacle of it.
It's the spectacle. And also, this year I think was the biggest year they had as far as celebrity goes.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
because they've all caught on to it now.
and you were right. The when we were walking around, I think one of the days you pointed at a guy in a pig mask and said, "That guy's famous." You know who that guy was?
Who?
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I knew it, man.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Because you'll see
Somebody at a place.
like in a very like a costume where you're like this, like that looks a little bit too not out of the ordinary, but a little too plain or simple.
Just a little skewed.
That's being walked with by obviously an assistant,
Right.
like someone who is like a female assistant or something like that.
That was Kevin Bacon. He was walking
There's
around
I saw a few of those dudes.
with a pig mask.
I also realized there were a lot of people saying my name when I was walking around there that I just completely blocked out and I just walked past.
Because of like people you know.
No, I think people who recognize us maybe from one of the shows that were fucking saying my name.
John Adler.
Yeah, and me just continue to walk on like they're not talking about me.
Well, John Adler's also a clothing designer, so
Yeah.
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 They could be talking about their John Adler vests.
Anybody just around me at all times. So no more from me.
You done?
And also like you're seeing the cosplay disappear.
That was the weird thing that ate itself this year. With like as
There's
soon as you
still a
walk
ton
in,
of it,
man.
though.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday was awful weather, so
Sunday there was a good amount of cosplay, but like it wasn't as predominant as last year. Last year I feel like it was like 70% of the people who went were dressed up in costume, and a lot of those people had amazing costumes. Yeah. This year I think it was back, which I liked. It was back a little bit more to the floppy costume. I saw a lot of great floppy costumes this year, which I love.
Yeah, but you're getting so much less of it.
There was a dude. Did you see the guy completely head to toe in chainmail that was painted like Iron Man?
No, I saw pictures of him on. Yeah,
Dude's fantastic.
I also think that the clinching moment for me was me and Andrew were outside. That whole like if you sit outside where the food trucks were, I mean that was the best place. The people watch because so many dudes were eating lunch and in costume and stuff like that. But there was a fantastic Red Sun and Red Sun Wonder Woman.
I was there. Yeah, I was there when they walked out, and then
when
denied.
we were outside.
Denied everybody pictures.
And we did this completely like no, we don't have time for this.
That was after he left.
That was after you left.
That was when Crest. That's when.
Chris Kimball.
Yeah, that's when he met us.
And I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, why else are you here? Like, you're peacocking. Like, you have an incredible
costumes.
Incredible, like really like stunning. One of the best Red Sun Superman and Wonder Woman I've ever seen. And completely just like, no. Whatever our agenda was is now over. We're out of here.
It's done. We're normal now. We're civilians. Don't talk to me. Yeah, it was a little weird. You want to?
And still the shocking thing with people, just like surprised they're getting pictures taken care of.
Yeah, I think a lot of people handled it good. I saw a couple of disgruntled, like just like every 2 steps kind of like thing, and they'd be like, no more.
That's me.
You want to talk comics?
Sure.
All right. Give me news.
Let's
do some news.
So the comic stuff that did come out. So DC doesn't have a presence there. The only presence that DC had was the 75th anniversary of Batman downstairs.
Pretty bananas that DC was not at the con yet again.
This is like the third or second year that they
second year
that they won't do it, and that's I think mostly because of the California Burbank move that they're doing.
That's pretty crazy, man.
But DC did make an announcement this week about their slate of films coming out. So 2016 Suicide Squad.
Great.
Right now, Ryan Gosling's in the lead to be in that crew.
Deadshot.
Ryan Reynolds, I think, is one of the guys there.
Great.
And Ryan Gosling.
As Green Lantern?
Maybe.
As Deadshot.
Deadshot, maybe.
Ridiculous.
2017, Justice League Part 1 and Wonder Woman. 2018, Flash.
Yeah.
Supposedly starring Ezra Miller of when you talk about Kevin fame. Aquaman starring Jason Momoa.
Great movie.
2019 Shazam and JLA 2, and then 2020 Cyborg, Green Lantern reboot.
No thanks.
Another Superman, another Batman.
Yeah. 2000. If I ruin Flash for you, would you be upset, or you don't really care about spoilers?
I mean, I think I'm gonna.
Please watch it. Just watch it, because you've shot me down at every turn where I'm like, yo, watch Arrow. No, watch Constantine. No thanks. Watch Flash, man.
Constantine's the one that I would give a chance because it's not on CW.
Okay.
Or WB or what the hell it is.
CW.
Because I think it has the better chance. Like Gotham is boring as shit.
I only watched the first episode.
Exactly, boring.
Yeah.
The Flash looks terrible. Like I understand,
it's pretty good.
It's terrible. And then the Green Arrow thing is, I know that I wouldn't be invested into it. I know that I would not. It's
slow burn. See, because I know you. I've known you for a very long time.
Really?
Think after the first, you have to sit through the first 8 or 9. Honestly,
why would I do that? Why would you? You can't sell me on like you need to sit through 8 hours.
They're going
stuff.
Because they're going into season 3, right? So after the first 8 or 9 episodes, they iron out the kinks really well, and then it gets honestly like really fascinating, really interesting, very well put together. And towards the end of that first season, they stopped doing the like
CW stuff,
the CW romance stuff, and it's kind of it's because where I'm at right now at the end of the first season is him on the island, a lot of crazy Deathstroke stuff. Just him having flashbacks, him kind of. It's interesting because I feel like they've tried to make Batman without Batman, and it worked out with Arrow. As far as like the budget goes, because it's almost they're kind of portraying it as like the same thing. Nobody knows who he is. He's a vigilante. He stalks people at night.
Course.
He's got an agenda, and he's got like Batman's rogues gallery for the most part too, because Ra's al Ghul is involved.
Suicide Squad,
Deathstroke, throwing Vertigo a little bit. Flash showed up and like. The introduction, originally what they wanted to do with Flash was have the pilot be like the explanation, right? But because they already did a mini pilot within Arrow in the last season, the Flash show just jumps right into the action, And it's like, it's pretty cool. I got to say, like my review of it is it's very entertaining. You're going to see a lot of cool DC stuff, which I think was the point, where they're not like, we're not slow burning this like Smallville. Like you're going to see in the first half an hour, you see Weather Wizard Grodd. You don't see Grodd, but you see like the hint of it, a bunch of the rogue stuff, and the end is a pretty good reveal.
Zoom.
No. Zoom you see from the very beginning, where like
they do the killing and everything.
They do the whole murder.
They showed all this stuff in the preview. They revealed all this stuff. They showed the Weatherbird stuff, and they showed like what's coming for the entire year.
Captain Cold.
Yeah, maybe, but like that's another like big investment of time.
It is because it's
like,
network, man.
And it's also like it's like no matter what, like I'm spoiled by like incredible television,
Mhm.
like stuff that involves like adult themes and grown up narrative, and like I always feel when I watch this stuff, it's always a step down.
But you gotta have why? Who cares? See, that's you being judgy on television.
No, it's me wanting the apps. Like if I'm gonna invest my time into like 12 to 13 hours of television, I want 12 to 13 hours of awesome television.
There's
I
gotta
don't
be some
wanna-
kind of garbage you like.
Total Divas,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, like that's 40 minutes, but I'm entertained through and through. And I accept it for what it is. Like for a lot of these things, I feel like it's just network bullshit.
Mm.
Like I really try not to watch any fat. Like I spend too much time with wrestling and too much. Like that's enough. Like that is my sugar.
That's your limit.
That's my candy. Like I want serious
Dramas, hardcore dramas,
absolutely
documentaries,
Yeah, I don't want the thrown together romance. I don't have enough time for that shit.
music videos.
I don't want no music videos. Nothing. No fat. Nothing.
No music. You don't watch music videos?
Not really.
Kind of
not
interesting.
anymore.
I love me. I'm a sucker for music videos.
There's no. I mean, you still have metal, but there's not a lot.
I do have a lot of
new.
metal.
There's not a lot of new music that appeals to me in terms
Okay.
of like top 40 that's coming out with videos.
Yeah,
Crap
it's interesting.
shit.
But
want
you're a
the-
big music fan.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
I listen to tons of music, but I'm not. I don't know. That's the least thing that I'm worried about. Music is whatever, but like the TV shit is. That's a lot, and these are network on these like 22, 23 episodes a season. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No way. There's no way I can do that. I did the last one I'll ever do that with was Lost, and what a mistake that was.
Sons of Anarchy.
So Anarchy they do.
That's true. 13
now
episodes. Yeah.
Now they do 16, 17 episodes.
That was a great episode the other day. I got a chance to sit down and watch it the other day.
This week's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched this week's last night. Great episode. I saw a awesome Chibs cosplay at Comic-Con, and I thought it was the same guy who played him. But I was like, damn. I was like, why would he show up dressed like that? Because he had the white sneakers, he had the vest, and the whole thing. And then I looked at it. He looked exactly like him. I looked at his face. Didn't have the scars though, but he had the scraggly facial hair and like the ponytail. And I was like, that is a really good Chibs cosplay.
What else we got going on? They announced Secret Wars for Marvel next year. 12-issue run by Hickman and Esad Ribic.
Fantastic.
This is something they've been building towards from like the new Avengers stuff. I went back and I read the first issue of Avengers, and they did tease this. Apparently, it's going to be like all the realities duking it out on like a battle world type
Awesome.
thing. What else we got? I've been getting all of these press releases from Marvel all week long. The first one was Civil War, summer 2015. Then they did Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies, summer 2015. They just sent me one now for Planet Hulk #1, which has a ton of Hulks fighting a barbarian Captain America. One of the Hulks is a green Hulk with Hogan hair and Hogan mustache.
Beautiful.
Something else too that they announced. Oh, Years of Future Past. So I'm saying that some of this stuff is What If, like a weekly What If book.
Yeah.
Or it may be tying into Secret Wars with all these alternate realities. Spider-Gwen and Silk ongoing series was announced.
Pretty crazy.
New York Comic Con. Fantastic Four was canceled. Definitely.
Yeah.
Captain America 3 is featuring Robert Downey Jr. and they're doing the Civil War storyline.
Great.
Which I think is cool.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool too.
Ant-Man ongoing. Hawkeye will continue with Jeff Lemire.
Beautiful.
Which has got picked up as a TV show.
Fantastic.
With the week that #1 came out.
What are your thoughts on the Daredevil stuff from Comic-Con?
Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, so they had their Daredevil panel, and they also had an Age of Ultron trailer, which they premiered, which no one has yet. I don't know how I feel about the Daredevil stuff.
You know why? Because of the weird outfit.
And I like that outfit when I first. So the what they showed was the first outfit for Daredevil was going to be the Frank Miller Man Without Fear, John Romita Jr. Costume, which is just basically a black do-rag over his eyes and his head, and just like black pajamas, which is essentially the same costume he had in the Hulk Thor thing,
right?
The old Incredible Hulk stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's only for the first year. I think they're gonna lead up to him having like the classic costume.
But I know that's like, like you're I hope we're smart enough at this point to project and be like, you know what, like it's not the final product, like I'm sure there's going to be some cool stuff happening, But then in the back of my mind is like, why would you show that as your first image when you and like again, I'll go back to like, hey, all right, DC makes crappy movies, but they make decent TV shows, and the costumes on the TV shows, I dig them, right?
Mm.
So you have cool stuff there, and your competition is like black turtleneck, black do-rag. Let's go.
Well, in terms of storyline, I mean, it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not something that you really would use to promote it. I would have showed D'Onofrio as Kingpin.
Yeah.
I would have shown something that's a little bit more visually entertaining, or like if they have Bullseye around or something.
Right.
I don't know, like the whole Netflix Marvel stuff is so we haven't seen anything from it really, so we can't judge it. I have a feeling, my heart of hearts, that it's gonna end up being just as half-assed as like the CW shit.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna fall into a lot of like weird tropes, or even the Agents of Shield crap.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another.
So I can't stomach that.
But I feel like it's like the same type of water. It's like the same like padding 22 episodes. No story that you're putting on network is awesome enough for 22 episodes. Nothing. There's gonna be so much padding. It's 22 hours of programming.
Yeah.
Maybe 18. It's too much. So much. Yeah, it's just not the way it works.
Yeah.
Like it's not the way that like you don't. There's nothing interesting enough for you to have that much. You know, like 10 of those episodes are gonna be the mystery of the week. It's gonna be like a kid gets like Green Arrow goes out for a slice of pizza, and then like this kid almost gets hit by a car.
Like NCIS type.
Yeah,
stuff.
they do that stuff like every once in a while, and that's the whole point of Agents of Shield.
Yeah. I just like I can't get behind Agents of Shield.
It's awful.
Awful. Yeah, I mean I'll pop in every so often, but you know, I can't deal with that. What else came out of Comic-Con?
That's it.
Axis #2 came out this week, which way better art than week number 1.
First one, yeah.
I really enjoy the story. I kind of want to see where it goes with it. I really enjoy how like they're really putting a lot of emphasis on how like Iron Man's a douche.
Again,
you know. And just like the whole like reuniting the X-Men thing is cool because it kind of makes it feel like they're going to go out with
a bang.
Like a big bang, especially because like at the end of this you're going to have like a No More Mutants type deal.
Right.
You know.
But I don't think that they're gonna be able to pull the trigger on no X-Men. I understand like they're doing a Fantastic Four. I think Fantastic Four is an easy choice because it's just floundering right now.
Yeah.
Even James Robinson said like where all these people who are up in arms like why you're not buying the book because the book sucks. The book sucks right now. I like the way the Axis I like Axis. I love the idea of it. I think it's a lot of reiteration of like the Iron Man stuff, like you're saying, like, but it's also in terms of like what's going on with Avengers and New Avengers. I don't think it fits in perfectly because like the way Avengers let off was that Iron Man was a douche, and like, Captain America was going after him with like the entire Avengers team. Which there's not much of a backup in this. Yeah,
well, because this is just the Remender Uncanny stuff.
Exactly. You know? Yeah, but I liked it. I love the Onslaught idea. I like the idea of this hero suppressing Sentinel that Iron Man's been making like without him knowing it
in his brain. Yeah, subconsciously making it.
I love the tentacles. I love the gigantic tentacle horned Red Skull Onslaught. I just thought like I know you didn't read them, but I want to give them to you. I thought that the tie-ins have been awesome for this stuff. You know, Kenny Avengers from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that set up like the Havoc and all of the stuff. Loki from this week was awesome and really gave a layer to it, and especially Magneto, which shows you like the big climax is them realizing that these Sentinels are built to suppress these heroes. So Magneto goes off and gets like
the bad guys,
ragtag team of bad guys.
It really is a ragtag. You have Jack-o'-lantern, Hobgoblin, Enchantress, Loki,
Carnage.
I forgot about that because I looked at the whole page and then at the corner I was like, oh, Carnage is there. And I think there was a couple of more dudes.
Yeah, Absorbing Man.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Shit, where is it? I have a copy here. Dudes. I felt it was really short too.
It
went by super quick.
New Masters of Evil.
Yeah. All right. Jack-o'-lantern, Hobgoblin, Loki, Absorbing Man, Mystique, Sabretooth, Doctor Doom, Deadpool, Enchantress.
So ridiculous. But it's great though. I love it. Yeah.
And we know where this is leading up, where they're like these guys are gonna become these are the Avengers that you're gonna be getting. Like Sabretooth's gonna be in the Wolverine position. Doctor Doom is gonna do Doctor Doom stuff.
Which is kinda interesting. we don't have much time left. Can we talk about how we both felt about Death of Wolverine?
Oh boy, that's right. That should have been the number one thing.
Which is like a big thing for those that don't know. Wolverine, they've been teasing the death of Wolverine forever, for like the last year and a half, losing his healing factor, just like being hunted by ninjas and weird aliens and like all this stuff. Really like ham-fisted kind of Wolverine storytelling.
Cramming everything you can into this.
Yeah, just like really reiterating the point that like he doesn't have much time left. He's still the best there is at what he does. And they came out with this miniseries called Death of Wolverine. Obviously, he's supposed to die in it. Beautiful art. I feel like the whole thing was just a little bit forced and
empty.
Not as extra. Like not it. Like, and that's not a knock on Charles Soule or Soule.
Soleil.
I don't know.
I guess.
What it is, it's like I feel like as a fan, I would have wanted a little bit more because I feel like he hit the high points that he wanted to tell, but there was just like no in between in those high points that should have been there. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think every issue was supposed to focus on a different aspect. Like the first issue was kind of like the Canadian wilderness stuff, like the cabin.
Mm.
The second issue was, I think, Japan.
Right.
Third was like Madripoor, and fourth was Weapon X.
Right.
So yeah, like these different eras of Wolverine. But it's just there was nothing to it. It was just like, what enemies can we throw at them?
Deathstrike.
Of course, we have to do like Weapon X. We gotta do something with Weapon X. There was, and then so it ends with Weapon X. He goes to Weapon X. Cornelius has been making killers for years now.
Right.
Like hundreds of killers.
Trying to.
Yeah, and like just constantly recycling this adamantium. And Wolverine takes him down, but he also cuts the supplies of smelted adamantium and gets covered in adamantium.
Yeah.
And like basically becomes like a carbonite statue and dies.
Right.
And it's just a very sudden ending.
It was a very sudden ending. It was a
where
very
it hardens and that's it.
It's a very sudden reveal too, where like especially because in the last issue, I think because I read them back to back. I read 3 and 4 together yet last night, and in the third one he fought Ogun, right? Like the spirit of Ogun possessed Kitty Pryde, and then he was like,
which is probably the best issue of the book.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then he like the mortal enemies, him and Wolverine. And then Ogun jumped into another guy's body, and he's like, yo, man, let that guy go. He doesn't need to die. And then he's like, well, I won't kill him if you leave right now, and I'll give you some more like hell stuff.
Yeah.
And Wolverine's like, all right, man.
I don't want it.
Like, but tell me who's behind this. And he's like, it's Dr. Cornelius. But at that point, also, Wolverine had like, this is what I don't understand, and I don't know where this is coming from, but to fight Ogun, he stumbled onto like a museum full of like samurai armor, and he put the armor on. And he went to fight him, right? And he won. Why not just wear the armor for the rest of the story?
Well, he had to put the hand wraps on and get the fake claws.
Uh-huh.
And also a weird thing is that dude, like, as soon as he told that it was Cornelius, he was like, oh, I know exactly where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's military base, like Weapon X is now occupied by pretty much United States soldiers, and let me go do this. But the weird thing is, Cyclops has been in the Weapon X base for 100 years now. That's the new Xavier Mansion is the hole in the mountain.
So like, that's the other thing. Like, that kind of stuff makes me think that this doesn't take place now, but I know it does. You know, and like you also know, like obviously Wolverine's gonna be back. I just really, I wasn't a fan, man. I was not a fan of the dude, like how he went out.
I mean, like, I think he went out like a bloody end.
More dramatic.
Because they're gonna stick like a Wolverine statue in like Avengers Mansion now, and like that's gonna be the memorial.
It's gonna crack open, and he's gonna like.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that's what this whole thing is built for. Is like for him to be like the statue for a while.
Plus, also like this whole thing with it just in the grand scheme of things, and this is where I get like really like. Like with my own fanboy stuff, like this is where I get incensed with like how I'm reacting, and just like it kind of comes to like the boil of like irrationality in my brain, where one with all the interdimensional like world colliding stuff from the Avengers world, which Wolverine was a big part of,
right?
Like I feel like they could easily just put Wolverine from Dimension Z on the team.
Oh hell yeah!
Or do something kind of cool like that. It's weird, man. It's weird, especially when you deal with the death of a major character. This by far probably the worst major character death that has happened.
It's up there. It's pretty up there. And I also think
And because they handled every single one, not to cut you off, but in the last few years, they've handled every single major. You know when somebody's going to die. You knew Cat was going to die. You knew Thor was going to die. You knew like Sentry was going to die. Like all these major deaths, Loki, and they were handled in like crazy, amazing ways that kind of like tugged at your heartstrings. I feel like the Wolverine one should have made you cry.
Yeah, but I also think that, I mean, this is also a problem that Marvel's having right now, is if this is, the reason why they're doing this is not so much like, oh, you know what, we've done too much Wolverine. You know, you guys asked for it. That's what they're saying is like, you've asked for no more Wolverine, so we're going to do no more Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think more it's putting in the box so that, you know, Fox doesn't have Wolverine to play with for a little bit. Yeah. So, like, I feel like it's more like, you know, we got to put this together, this, you know, whatever storyline you want to put out there. Here's what we have to tell you to do. Like, we need Weapon X, we need Japan, we need Ogun.
Work it out.
Work it out. The Wolverine, like I said before, the Wolverine, like to you, like Wolverine XMen issue, that the Memorial issue that comes out after that is awesome. The Logan's Legacy with the 5-part miniseries that comes after this is even worse than this issue.
Really?
The entire storyline is some dude named Skell is taking all like the Wolverine side characters, Mystique, Sabretooth, X-23, and threw him in like a cell, and somebody else, I think. Oh, and Lady Deathstrike, and threw him in a cell and is doing stuff. And the guy, Skell, works for a mysterious guy who looks like Red Hood and Ogun got together.
Okay.
And they're gonna do stuff. And like the biggest part of the storyline is that she has that X-23 has highlights in her hair now. Everyone talks about the highlights in her hair.
Fantastic.
And this is all leading up to a weekly,
return of Wolverine.
A weekly series during the summertime called Wolverines, which features all these characters on a team together
As the Wolverines.
as Wolverines.
You know what? Like, there's a lot of room to play with this stuff. Is it gonna be good? Who knows?
Not by this. This is like we can count down to Final Crisis type of stuff.
Yeah. It's like, all right. One of my favorite deaths in comics, quote unquote deaths, was when Batman got hit by the Omega Beam.
Oh yeah.
And got sent way to the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And then had to force himself to travel forward in time to shoot Darkseid with the gun.
Yeah.
Right. Or to get out of the way of the bullet or whatever, however it ended like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, and like when you open the book, the first page is Wolverine sitting on the porch of like a cabin.
Yeah.
He looks like he's dead.
Right.
I feel like, as cheesy as it was, I think that should have been the last panel where he finds like the Hudson's cabin and just dies in front of it, because that's where it all started.
Yeah, the full circle thing, which I kind of thought was where they were going. Like I thought it would end up with like the Silver Fox cabin and all that stuff. And yeah,
a little disappointing, I gotta say.
A lot disappointing.
Not to like, you know, again, like not to knock the team on it, but like I just feel like it was a little forced and a little disappointing. Not like for such a majorly touted book for the death of a major character. It was just like, it seemed like it was shoddily put together and kind of like they forced it your way, you know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's an editorial thing where it says like this has happened. This has to happen. How do you want to get there? Who cares? Put this together as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Chico.
There you go.
Hey,
You ready to end the show?
Yeah, man.
All right, everybody. This has been Behind the Counter. We're going to get out of here a few minutes early. I think this guy's got another show to do. Which one is it today?
It's Wicked Radio Talk.
Yeah, sweet. All right, guys. I'm Rich Stambolian.
I'm the other guy.
Good night.